The Minnesota Timberwolves had a lot riding on Rudy Gobert. They traded multiple players and gave up first-round picks for the defensive center in a blockbuster exchange with the Utah Jazz this past summer. Still, despite high hopes, they've only managed to win 7 times since the trade. And now, experts believe that shooting guard Anthony Edwards passes to Gobert less than 2 times a game. All that and a whole lot more in today's video. Starting with, the Timberwolves gave up a lot for Rudy Gobert. Standing in at an impressive 7 feet tall, Rudy Gobert is considered one of the best rim protectors in the NBA. The French national is tied for the 3rd most NBA Defensive Player awards and is a 3-time NBA All-Star. The Minnesota Timberwolves needed the defensive center on their team after finishing the 2021-2022 season with the league's 2nd most regular wins, with 46-36 overall. An impressive feat, but it showed management that they needed someone like Gobert to take them all the way. The Utah Jazz traded Gobert to the Timberwolves in July of 2022, with the Timberwolves giving up Patrick Beverley, Malik Beasley, Jared Vanderbilt, Leonardo Balmaro, and the draft rights to Walker Kessler. They also gave up their first-round draft picks, plus a 2026 pick swap. Just goes to show how eagerly Tim Connolly was to having Gobert wearing blue. And while the French national kicked things off beautifully, marking his debut with the team in October and putting up 23 points and 16 rebounds in a 115-108 win over the Oklahoma City Thunder, Minnesota's only been able to win 7 out of the 15 games they've played this season. NBA analyst Kevin O'Connor might know why. According to a series of tweets posted by O'Connor, the Timberwolves are yet to build perfect chemistry with Gobert. The analyst went on to state that shooting guard Anthony Edwards only passes to the French national 1.7 times per game. He compared these stats with Gobert's time at Utah, where Donovan Mitchell had the least number of passes to the defensive center at 4.4. Coming up next, it's championship or bust this season for the Timberwolves. Connolly probably had the right idea when he made major changes to the Timberwolves roster during the offseason. Rudy Gobert was onboarded to perfect the team's defenses. Fans dubbed Gobert as the newest addition to the Big Three. They're of course referring to Anthony Edwards, Karl Anthony Towns, and now Gobert. And while the team's general manager has many aspirations for the French national, Cat is sure Gobert will deliver. During an interview to discuss his 2-year contract extension with the Timberwolves, the Dominican-American professional player was asked about his thoughts on Gobert joining the team. Cat responded that the team was stoked to have the defensive center join the team. He went as far as claiming that with Gobert on board, it was championship or bust for Minnesota. The Timberwolves surprised everyone with their impressive play last season, and team members are probably riding that high. Gobert's addition only reinforced their belief that they'd be stacked higher in the Western Conference. We don't want to be overly pessimistic. There's still a long way to go, but based on how the Timberwolves are performing so far, it looks like it might be a bust. Moving on, is there bad blood between Anthony Edwards and Rudy Gobert? Rudy Gobert is the best rim protector in the NBA. You know it, we know it. Tim Connolly, who traded 4 players and the 4 first-round picks, definitely knows it. However, Anthony Edwards might need some convincing. Back in December of 2021, after the Timberwolves played against Utah Jazz, the shooting guard sat down for a post-match interview where he claimed that the French national didn't put fear in my heart. At 21 years old, Edwards is one of the league's most promising young players. He's also one of the league's sassiest players. Edwards had previously claimed that he was the best defensive player in the NBA, and that 2023 would be the year he'd get into MVP talks. Now, Edwards is actually playing alongside one of the best defensive players in the NBA. For him, however, that wouldn't be Gobert. It'd be Kristaps Porzingis. With Gobert's trade being made official this past summer, Edwards' comments would surely come back to haunt him at some point. However, it'd be unfair to base what he said over a year ago on why he hasn't been passing the ball that often to the former Utah Jazz player. If anything, Edwards reaffirmed Cat's statements by claiming that having Gobert on their team definitely added some much-needed pressure and hoped that his addition would be what the Timberwolves needed to go all the way this season. Moving on, Rudy Gobert is still finding his place at Minnesota. For the 100th time, Gobert's addition to the team was something that the Timberwolves needed to stack up in the Western Conference. His addition, however, came with a high stack of expectations placed on the former Utah Jazz player's shoulders, something that was clear during their game against the Miami Heat. The Timberwolves were down by 14 points points during the third quarter at Target Center when fans decided to take their frustrations out on their team by booing them. Gobert wasn't impressed. Now, while the defensive center managed to be the team's saving grace towards the end by having 2 foul shot attempts and 2 more free throws to lead the Timberwolves towards a late game win with 105-101, he made sure fans understood how he felt about them egging on the team. Gobert sat down for a post-match interview wherein he claimed that fans who couldn't support their team should just stay home. He went on to claim that no team in the history of the NBA has had a good season throughout. It's a part of professional basketball that everyone needs to understand and be respectful of. Previously, Edwards had stated that the fans' incessant booing was what the team needed to motivate themselves to do better. Interestingly enough, the only time Gobert had a shot attempt during their game that he helped win was when he was fouled, with 1 minute 11 seconds left on the clock. On to our next segment. Anthony Edwards knows he needs to be more consistent for the Wolves to have a chance. First up, Edwards claims he's still figuring things out. It's easy to forget that Anthony Edwards is only 21 years old. The man we saw dominate against Orlando, tallying 35 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists in a 126-108 win over the Orlando Magic, is only in his 3rd professional season playing in the NBA. It's easy to see why Edwards might get cocky at times, going as far as claiming that 2023 would be the season he's counted amongst the best players in the NBA. However, the young gun has recently revealed that he's trying to keep himself more centered and poised, claiming he's still figuring things out. His comments came after the Timberwolves lost 4 out of 6 games this season, and things weren't looking good for his previous claim of being amongst the very best. Edwards claimed that he's always trying his best to dominate every night, but agreed that he had a long way to go before becoming the very best. He revealed that his strive to be considered an NBA legend was what drove him to practice and replay his games every night. Now after a slow season, Edwards claims Timberwolves play soft. After a disappointing season start for the Minnesota Timberwolves, Anthony Edwards wasn't afraid to tell reporters exactly why he thought his team was lacking. According to the team's star shooting guard, they play too soft. Edwards claimed that every team they'd play against gave it their heart, yet the Timberwolves were still figuring out their rhythm. This might have something to do with the Timberwolves trading 4 of their players this offseason for Rudy Gobert. Analysts claim their slow start is because the rest of the roster hasn't developed chemistry with Gobert for now. Things have since picked up for the Timberwolves, but Edwards wasn't one to shy away when asked how he felt about their only win being against the bottom team, the Houston Rockets. Disappointing, claimed the shooting guard. Finally, everything riding on the big 3: Gobert, Ant-Man, and Cat. That's the dream team for the Timberwolves this season, and their secret weapon to getting ranked higher in the Western Conference. We have Gobert on defense, Ant-Man on shooting, and Cat is the team's star power forward. Fans believe that if there's anything that could redeem the season for the Minnesota Timberwolves, it's the big 3. Analysts seem to agree. However, they made note of the fact that Edwards in particular still has a long way to go before he establishes ideal chemistry with Gobert. Cat and the French national, on the other hand, are cruising by. During their game against Miami Heat, a game they were sure to lose, it was the rim protector and the power forward's chemistry that got them that last-minute win at Target Center. That's a wrap for this video. Thanks for watching. Do you think the Timberwolves made a smart decision to trade 4 players and 4 picks for Rudy Gobert? Or do you think they acted rashly? Let us know what you think in the comments down below. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more. We'll see you in the next one.